What is up, my beautiful people? Exile451 here, coming back at you again today with more Reddit smile stories. Sorry about no video yesterday, but my younger brother got married and life just got in the way of putting one together in time for Thursday. However, that's all taken care of and we're good for the foreseeable future. Gonna dive into a new one today and hit up r/examples of good. It's a smaller subreddit, but one with some great stories of humanity. Make sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to smile. I couldn't ask for a better boss. I work as a mainframe operator in a recessed region, and I don't make much money. I barely keep my head above water, and after finding out I'd be missing some time due to a surgical removal of a tumor in my nasal cavity and tongue lesions, I was obviously panicked. I spoke with my boss about scheduling some overtime to make up the hours I was going to lose. The doctor wanted me about for around a week. I told him I couldn't financially afford more than 2 days. My boss told me to focus on resting and healing, not rushing back to work. I had surgery on Monday and dealt with 2 of the most painful days of my life afterwards. I stopped taking my pain pills late last night because I knew I'd have to be relatively clear-headed for work today. I drive to the office, sift through my emails, and I come across the one asking me to come back to her office when I'm settled. I head back and she tells me that she works hard for those that work hard for her. Even though I'm only here 9 months and I don't get PTO for another 3 months, she told me she spoke with some people and got those 2 days I was off covered. I'm a large man, and I almost cried. I was so worried about finances and making sure everything was covered that her paying me for the days I was out was so unexpected. I can honestly say there are good people, and I'm privileged to work for one of the better ones. TLDR, didn't have sick time, couldn't afford to miss any days for R&R from surgery, but had to miss 2 anyway. Boss told me she's paying me for the 2 days I was off anyways because I worked so hard for her. Bosses are what can make or break a job, and personally, I've dealt with both. And it is so great when a boss is willing to do so much. You've really found an awesome position there, and I hope that you're happy and that you keep working hard for that boss of yours to prove that you are worth the effort she put into getting those days off for you. So I gave a guy my hat today. It was cold as crap yesterday, and I was walking around all day. So I bought a beanie. It was like $6, nothing special. Today, it wasn't as cold. I was walking in downtown Toronto carrying the hat in my hand. Some dude is camped out on the side of the road. Looks like that's home to him. And he's like, "I love your hat." And I'm all, "Thanks, man. You want it?" The guy lit right up. So freaking excited. So I gave him the hat. He put it on right away, proceeded to thank me profusely and tell me I'm beautiful, glowing all the while with his own great big smile. Then I turn the corner and there's another dude camped out. He asks me for $1 so he can buy a coffee. Normally, I avoid giving money to the homeless. I feel better giving food, for example. But I didn't have any food on me, and I was feeling inspired by the last dude. So I say hey, give him $1, and keep walking. A few minutes later, I run into him at the convenience store, buying a coffee with the $1 I gave him. So I ask him if he wants something to eat, and again, this dude lit the freak up. Said he would absolutely love something to eat. He picked out a sandwich, I bought it, and then we talked for a bit. Cool dude with lots to say. And now my heart is warm as heck, even if my head is slightly less shielded from the cold. A little can mean a lot. Do something nice today, Reddit. Well, OP, that is a wonderful story, and thank you for caring so much about people that are just down on their luck. There is a stereotype that if you give homeless people money, they'll just spend it on drugs or booze or anything else. And while there's certainly plenty of evidence to back that up, there are also plenty of people that are just struggling to get by, that don't want to use that money for drugs, that just want to use that money for something as simple as a coffee or a sandwich. So thank you so much for being willing to actually go out of your way and help people like this. You don't see that much in today's world with how cynical it's become. When I was sick, he went out of his way. Remembering the good things about my ex. One day, I was feeling quite ill, to the point that I hurled a couple of times and had a fever. I couldn't get out of bed except to use the washroom or get a drink of water. Even then, I was struggling just to drink water. When my boyfriend, ex, finally got a hold of me after I hadn't been answering texts, he was surprised that I wouldn't tell him I was sick. He asked if I wanted him to come over or to bring me anything, and I said no, thank you. For him to do that would have meant traveling for at least an hour or so to get to where I was living. He has already had a really busy day of commuting all over the place to get some things he was working on taken care of. I didn't want to add to the burden with him having to take care of me. When he realized I was being stubborn and got out of me what I thought may help me, he finally demanded that he would be coming over to my apartment with the stuff I had mentioned I thought would help me but couldn't go get. A few hours later, he showed up with the medicine and gave me a dose right away. Then he proceeded to sit next to me on the bed and rub my legs and tummy. It was so soothing. I had never had a boyfriend do anything like that for me, so I was conflicted with it feeling amazing and terrifying all at the same time. He was rubbing my entire legs and I was relaxing and accepting his nurturing. Then I joked about him being able to take advantage of me. He was kind and told me that although I was vulnerable and looked super cute, he, quote, would not be taking advantage tonight, but on another night when I haven't hurled earlier that day. We laughed and cuddled for about a half hour, and then he had to go home, which was over an hour away. The stuff he brought me helped me get better, and I was back to normal the next day. I will never forget that. How he went out of his way to help me feel better. How good he was at times at being an amazing boyfriend. I will never forget and will always be grateful. Well, OP, that is a touching story and a great example of what a good relationship looks like, where one person is willing to do so much, going above and beyond to help out the other person because they love them and care about them. Obviously, being on the outside, we don't know what caused you guys to break up, why he's now your ex, but it's a good thing that you at least had him in your life for that brief little time, because now you know what you deserve. And hopefully he'll go on to find someone who understands his worth and how great he is as much as you do. So thank you for sharing something that personal. Help a stranger. A lady was upset at the gas station because she locked her keys in her vehicle. She told me her husband was trying to get into the vehicle. They'd been stuck for 3 hours and couldn't pay a locksmith. I believed her, judging by the state of the vehicle. I visited the auto parts store to buy a Slim Jim lockout tool and mentioned the situation. A clerk said he's a part-time locksmith and would do the job for $20. I drove the clerk back and found the couple had gotten into their car. A tow truck operator had seen them, stopped, and opened their car for free. The clerk said he didn't want any money, but I slipped him a bill anyway. I only helped for 2 reasons. 1, I've locked my keys in my vehicle before and know how it feels to be poor. And 2, it was the right thing to do. To quote Hannibal Smith, I love it when a plan comes together. Well, OP, that is a wonderful thing that you did to try and help them, even though they ended up getting helped while you were trying to find them help. That was still a wonderful thing for you to be able to do, to be able to show compassion to your fellow man and be able to help them in a time where it sounded like they really needed it. Thank you so much for being that good of a person, willing to go that far out of your way to help someone in need. You are a wonderful example of good. Thank you all so much for tuning in today and supporting the channel. I truly appreciate all the views, the likes, the shares, everything you have done. We're well over 100 views, and I'm grateful to everyone who comes here every day to get some smiles. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, since it really helps a new channel like this gain traction and get off the ground. Thank you all again so much for coming today. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all Monday. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.